Okay, now that I finished playing Dragon Quest 3 HD2D Remake, I wanted to talk about whether or not this timeless JRPG is worth your time. The short answer is yes. If you're a fan of the if you are a fan of the JRPG genre, you should definitely play it. It's only 35 minutes. It's only 35 hours long. If you're a fan of the Dragon Quest series, then definitely, because this is actually a prequel to Dragon Quest 1 and 2. If you are new to the genre, or have only started playing with JRPG with modernized gameplay, I would say this is more of a maybe, and I'll let you know in a little bit. Might be controversial, so don't kill me. So yeah, Dragon Quest has been around for a very long time. It's actually one of the very first Dragon Quest that I played when I came to Canada at around age 10, and my husband always tells me that it's the game that forced him to learn to read because his father wouldn't help him, and if he wanted to continue, he would have to figure it out himself. This remake means a lot to many people, especially since the striking art style is done by Akira Toriyama. But I do want to do the genre some justice and the series some justice, and I want to review or compare this game not by what it's made from, but also how it stands as a game being played by people who's never played Dragon Quest before, because that may be the case. And I'm going to start with the visuals. So since this is an HD 2D remake, it's Square Enix's new trend, and there's honestly nothing I can say wrong about it. It's such a beautiful look, and Akira Toriyama's style perfectly represents it. It's just so good. The way the city looks from the world map, the atmosphere of the day and night cycles, they're just absolutely breathtaking. The way I was always in awe when you first go into a dungeon or a cave and your hero is holding this little lantern that just beautifully lights up the place. It looks so good. My only complaint, sadly, is that they spend so much time creating these really good looking armor sprites, but they never represent on your character when you finally do equip it. The only exception to that are maybe a handful. I haven't seen all the armor, but the only two that I've seen that does it are the cat suit and the magical bikini. Also, you should read the description for magical bikini, because it just explains everything why bikini is one of the strongest armors you could find. Anyways, the visuals for Dragon Quest HD 2D is definitely 100% what carries this game. I think my favorite part about the game is actually how beautiful the cities look on the world map, and you can tell where the entrances are on the world map, and it actually matters where you enter from, because once you load into the city, that's where you end up. If you go through the left side of the world map on through the city, that's where you are when you load in, it's kind of such a small thing, but I really appreciate it. Okay, so here it is. I said earlier that the visuals carry Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, and unfortunately it isn't the gameplay. I want to clarify some things before you throw your pitchforks at me. I have not played the original, so I can't tell you the differences between the old one and the original one and this iteration. However, I do know some things. I know that there are options in the menu, some accessibility features that you can toggle on and off. There are some choices that I made that may have formed my opinions on the gameplay, but the way the game is inherently designed almost forces you to play it in this way, unless you want to be a purist and then just keep all of those accessibility features off. I played the game on normal, and there is a hard mode, so it's maybe, again, like I said, it might be partly my fault why I have this opinion, but overall I found the gameplay to be not engaging. And I know this is a remake that's based on the original, and they probably wanted to do their best to keep it as close to the original as possible. But unfortunately, some of these choices may have hindered their options to modernize it and open it up to newer audiences. Not to an extent where they need to make a Final Fantasy VII remake or a Final Fantasy XVI. They can still keep some of the essence of what Dragon Quest is now, just like Dragon Quest XI, but still retain the original heart that the original Dragon Quest III had. Anyways, let's get to the points. Okay, so what makes the gameplay not engaging? The first point, a lot of people may know this about me already, but one of the things that I look to when it comes to deciding whether or not I want to play a new JRPG is, does it have random battles? And unfortunately, with Dragon Quest 3 HD2D, it does. There are some games that I will excuse it for because, you know, a good game will trump my desire for no random battles. If it's a good game that's engaging and has good gameplay loop, I don't care. That's fine. Give it to me. But with how often random battles proc, it just makes the traversal it's such a chore, and it really ruins the pacing of the game. I know there are abilities and items that allows you to lessen the encounter or remove it entirely for a limited period of time, but in my opinion, you can't even do it. You can't even use it that much because you may be faced with a consequence of being too underleveled. Another aspect of the gameplay is, again, I know this is optional, but it is the auto battle. Sure, you can decide to choose to tell each individual character what to do at every turn, at every encounter, but with how often you're thrust into battle, it almost makes a necessity to do it. And lastly, I did find the game too easy on normal to a point where auto battle actually took care of 90, if not 95% of the game from beginning to end credits. But it's too tedious and grindy on hard. There are also other things like quest markers, mini-maps, that while it increased the quality of life, it did also make gameplay less engaging. And turning them off, especially with random battles, would only serve to waste your time. For example, the last dungeon was literally designed to waste your time. There's so many long corridors that leads nowhere. There's no rewards or hardships towards the end except random battles, except going there, wasting your time, forcing yourself to walk back. And not only that, the whole thing is a maze. Imagine I didn't have a mini-map. There's no way I would have finished this game. They added quality of life features, but the out-of-date design still exists. It's like giving me a wide, empty planet to traverse and giving me a buggy. If it's uninteresting and not rewarding, you allowed me to traverse the wide, empty space more efficiently, but what is the point? There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to do. You might as well have just given me a linear place to go through that's actually good to look at. Stop wasting my time. This is one of the main reasons why I think if you are new to the series or new to the genre and you're used to more modernized JRPG mechanics like with Metaphor or Chained Echoes or even Sea of Stars, then Dragon Quest 3 HD2D is a maybe. There are better games. I'm just joking. This is a good game. You know, this is one of those things that I've spoken to before with other people. They love to reminisce about how amazing older games used to be, how gaming sucks now. But what people forget is that gaming was not as available back then as it is now. They were less accessible. They were more expensive to buy. They created less games. So often when developers make games, it's artificially made harder and artificially made longer so you have something to play for a longer period of time. But that's not how it is now. It needs to have some modernization. Although I am thankful that whenever you do level up, your HP and MP replenishes, so that's really nice. And that they made it so that zoom now works from almost anywhere. For those who are familiar with Dragon Quest, zoom and Chimera Wings propels you upwards, and it doesn't work if you're indoors, because obviously if you go upwards you bonk your head on the ceiling, or if you bonk your head on the ceiling, so it wouldn't make sense. So it's actually weird that they took away that limitation. I kind of miss it. Isn't that weird? See, some limitations are fine if it makes sense. Them allowing me to use zoom anywhere kind of is a nice quality of life, but at the same time I didn't need it. I'm weird that way. Yeah, that's the gameplay. The story is next, and I don't think they really focused on storytelling that much in the early Dragon Quests. It's just such a typical hero saves the world from a big baddie sort of thing. And honestly, I know this is a prequel, but your hero doesn't even have a name. He's the most important character in the game. At the same time, he feels kind of bleh. Your father is more important than you. You're just carrying on his legacy. And even the party members that are with you are literal filler adventurers. It says so in the lore. I don't know. That's another thing that made it less engaging for me, because the gameplay didn't really fully do it for me, and the story isn't fully doing it for me. So that's not very JRPG like for me anymore. I'm gonna get myself knocked out for sure. This game is a prequel, and one of the things that I want to call out is that when I did finish Dragon Quest 3 HD2D and the credits rolled up and it said that, look forward to continuing the story with Dragon Quest 1 and 2 in 2025, I got so excited. And so that must mean that I really like the game, right? And even if I'm kind of complaining a lot, I'm really excited to play the next game. So the story must have been good enough for me to think that.
Oh, I am so happy to hear you say this. Come then, follow me.
So how did Dragon Quest 3 sound? Honestly, there's not many games where they'll give you the same music, the same sound effects through so many different games, and we will be thankful and happy for it. And that's the case with Dragon Quest. It's just so satisfying and so nostalgic. Even the ones who never played any of the Dragon Quest, when they hear the tick 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 as the text pops up when you're talking to people, it just feels so good. They do a really good job having that iconic transition, the transitional music from exploration to battle, and even just standing idly by in the town while you're just taking in the atmosphere of the day and night cycle along with the music. It's just so satisfying. This game is only supposedly 35 hours long, and my save is around 65 hours. I AFK a lot, but I didn't mind just having the game on while I did my chores around the house, because I can listen to this really nice Dragon Quest music. Performance wise, I played the game on PlayStation 5, specifically the PS5 Pro. So obviously I didn't really have any issues with it. I actually found out later that it had a graphic versus performance mode. And honestly, there's really no reason for you to choose performance mode, even on a non-performant a platform like Nintendo Switch. You can suffer through some FPS loss because it's a turn-based RPG. It's not very fast to begin with, so just doesn't matter. Anyways, anybody who played it on Nintendo Switch want to tell me how it performed for them, let me know. But it couldn't have been that bad. I heard it sold millions. So yeah, overall, what do you think? Did I like the game? I complained a lot, didn't I? But one thing that you should know about me is that even in my most favoritist game, I will have complaints, and I am not shy with voicing them, because for me, no game is perfect. Well, almost no game is perfect. I can't even think of what I would consider a perfect game. So I had to ask, because again, I complained a lot when I played this game, and my husband will tell you I complained a lot when I played this game, because when I finally killed the last boss, he gave me props, and then I asked him, what do you think I liked it or not? And he said, for someone who complained so much, you did not stop playing it. And it's true. It's rare that I can complete a JRPG in a timely fashion. Usually I'll get distracted with all the other games I have in my library. When I finally had the time to play video games, I sat down and I played Dragon Quest. When it was time for me to go to bed, I turned on my PlayStation Portal and I played Dragon Quest. And you know what? He's right. I really did enjoy Dragon Quest 3 HD2D. Even though I found the game lacking in modernization in gameplay and story, and I found the story to be basic, I will definitely say I liked it. Usually for me, an amazing JRPG will hit both gameplay and story. A great game will be good at one aspect and do okay on the other, and a decent game will be decent at both gameplay and story. And I think Dragon Quest 3 HD2D is a decent game. Maybe the beautiful graphics and the nostalgic soundtrack was enough to carry the game for me. Maybe the striking art style of Akira Toriyama, may he rest in peace, and the fact that I generally really like the Dragon Quest series was enough to highly influence my bias towards this game. But whatever it is, I truly did enjoy it. If this is a prequel, right? So if you want to play Dragon Quest 1 and 2 next year, you might as well play this one. Thank you for listening.